Welcome back to 30, Flirty, and Traumatized.
Welcome back.
It's been over a year. Maybe a year and some change, actually.
Oh, no, it's been like almost 2. Maybe we should
Almost
reintroduce
2
ourselves.
years? That is crazy.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
2 years is insane.
Yeah.
Well, it's Valentine's Day.
Yay.
15th, actually, now that we're recording. But
Yeah.
it's our 4th year? 3rd year?
I think
No.
it's, I don't even, 4th year. I
4th
think.
year.
Yeah.
We're 4 years old, you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
We started this podcast 4 years ago at my old apartment
Yeah.
because we just wanted to talk shit. Anyways.
Yeah, we should probably introduce ourselves. It's been quite a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Want to go first?
Oh, yeah. This is Cheese. Hello. Welcome
Hi.
back.
Yeah,
Cheese.
welcome
Hi,
back,
Cheese.
Cheese. You're going to hear many voices, but there's going to be a few of us. I'm Darling. Welcome back to the show.
Hello, darling.
Thanks.
And Cheese. I'm So. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Hi, guys. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm Wen.
You guys might remember one. She was here 2 years ago
Mm-hmm.
on our What is Love podcast. We have a new guest, though. Yeah, Miss So.
Yay. I'm excited to be here. First time joining you all.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
maybe-
really surprising because I feel like we've done a podcast before with So, but I think we just mentioned
Mhm.
So.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Wen and So also have a podcast now.
Yeah.
Can you introduce your podcast?
Yes. Our podcast is called Traumama House. We talk about a lot of things, not just trauma, but that's like kind of the center of things, but just our journey of healing. We focus on our stories and we kind of laugh and cry through it. So, yeah. Anything to add about that?
I guess there's a lot to say, but you'll just have to jump in and see what we talk about.
Dang,
Absolutely.
she's ambiguous out here, but it's true. Where can we find your podcast?
Well, we're on YouTube. We upload every Thursday.
Mhm.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
Yeah. We're trying to keep the TH thing. TH.
Okay.
Oh,
cute.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that, but that makes sense.
Trauma Healing, Traumama House.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're also on Instagram. So
Okay.
Traumama is trauma with ma at the end. So that's how you spell our name.
All right, go.
Traumama House.
A new
Trauma House.
podcast to listen to. They're really fun.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
nice.
We love seeing your comments and your engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're the true fans out here. All right, so we're back to Valentine's Day. As many of our listeners have, been around, we've started this 4 years ago just because we had a Valentine's party at my apartment and we were like, what is love? Like, what is that? So that's today's topic.
Yeah.
What is love? But before I start, this podcast is dedicated to Mac.
Oh.
We both kind of agreed that like this podcast would go for our Mr. Friend Mac.
Yeah. It's actually his birth month.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What day?
I have no idea.
Okay. Okay, no, that's okay.
But
February.
truly a love bug.
Yeah. He is my puppy, best friend. Yeah. He has been featured in a couple of episodes.
Mm.
In a couple of episodes you can hear him.
Oh.
But yeah, he is no longer with us. But he was probably, in my opinion, like kind of like the epitome of love.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this would be a good opportunity to dedicate this, and yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. So today's topic, what is love? And that's what I'm going to open up with is what did you guys think was love when you were younger? So think of your childhood self. And then we will dive deeper into what you think love is now. And we're not going to talk about our other old podcasts of like what we thought love was because, it changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we can always reflect on it.
We can reflect on it for sure, but I also don't quite remember what I've said before.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
And
I
that's
took notes.
you did
wow.
you really?
Really?
Yeah, I went back to listen
Wow,
to
that's
it.
powerful.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that you did that.
I'm just like, ooh, I do not want to listen. But yeah, I'm gonna open it up to the floor, you guys. What is love?
I feel like it's only right that y'all start.
Okay. To be honest, I feel like love as a child, I didn't even think about love. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
there was never a thought like, oh, my mom loved me, or like these people love me. I just
Mhm.
never thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when when you're older, you think like, oh, that wasn't love or that was love. That was when I was loved and I wasn't. You know, like I didn't think of it until when I'm an adult reflecting back on it. So to be honest, like if I'm speaking for my child to think like what is love, I didn't think about it.
Didn't think about it, but did you feel it?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't remember much. Maybe completely honest, I don't remember much about how I felt back then, unless it was like specific traumatizing events. Then that's when I remember. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But speaking of just like how I felt as a child, I don't know. But as an adult, thinking for the child, I guess in the capacity that my mom knows how to love her kids.
You knew that as love as a child. Like what my mom has to give me, that's the love I know.
At the time, yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's very different from your adult version of what love is. Cheese is very by the book.
It's weird because in my brain, right? In my brain, I know that love is like not black and white. It is very nuanced. It's very complex. But then in my head, I'm like, what does it fucking mean? I need a dictionary.
Yeah. I need a
What's the definition?
Yeah.
I actually went through it.
Very
it was
literal.
It's so dumb, and I had to Google the definition. I had to Google the words in the definition. It's stupid, but it's very vague. Just going through the definitions, and at the end of the day, yeah, it is really vague. Yeah,
that's why we open it up every year as a conversation, because we experience a lot throughout the year to describe what love means to us.
Yeah.
What about you, Wen?
We're just gonna skip you.
Yeah.
You'll come back. I
I guess we'll circle around.
I suppose we can come back to you. Okay. So what did I think love was as a child? Compliance. I thought it was obedience.
Wow.
I thought the way that it's crazy how cheese you didn't think about love in its what it was as a child, but I thought about it often. Like, I love my mom, I'm going to obey her. I love my dad, I'm going to obey. So my kind of love was it was very under authority. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's very different from who I am now, but that's important because it shaped the way that I navigated my life from childhood. Was I had this skewed view of love as it being obedience. And that was very dangerous for me. And it fucked up a lot of life events for me because I thought of it that way.
Yeah.
So I felt like to love was to obey, whether they were right or wrong. That's how I felt as a kid. I didn't know any better. That's how we were brought up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your mom, when you were a child, did your mom be like, you know, if you love me, you will listen to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like she said that.
I don't recall her saying that exactly, but it was like, I gave birth to you, so you better listen to me.
It was very commanding.
Yeah.
And a commanding person is perfect to me as someone who was very obedient. They loved that.
Yeah.
I didn't challenge things. But things changed, obviously. Y'all know who I am now, and I became very rebellious.
They did scare us with the whole one day when you die and God judges you, he's gonna look at you and like if you obeyed us or not.
Yeah.
Like you'll be standing in front of God. Like they would tell us those things to make us obey them.
Because it's a part of the commandments, right?
Kind of like a fear.
Yeah, like
it's the only commandment with a promise as well. And they made sure we knew. I remember one time mom misquote the Bible and said, the Bible says obey your parents. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It says honor. And that's when things started changing for me. I'm like, okay. Yeah. But obedience.
Just in case our viewers don't know, So and Wen are siblings.
Yeah, we're sisters. Same parents, same home.
Thanks for noting that.
I don't know if we introduced you guys. We introduced you guys as Traumama House together, but just in case anyone doesn't know.
Yeah, so and I grew up in the same Traumama house.
Yes.
So yeah.
Did you feel like you had that same experience too? So
I did not. And different from when I thought of love, I didn't really think of love. I thought of what it wasn't. So growing up, I just knew that wasn't love. So being a child, hearing arguments and fighting every day, I was like, that's not love. That's not love. Us getting beat every day, I'm like, that's not love. And then my dad cheated on my mom, like, that's not love either. So I always knew what wasn't love.
Yeah.
Though I didn't really know how it felt to be loved. I guess it was just what I had made up in my mind, because it was I think what I wanted, I think at the time I was like, okay, I think love is safety. And when I didn't feel safe in the home, then I was like, that's not love because that's not safe.
Wow. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's a lot
that's how I
for a
viewed it.
child though.
Yeah, but growing up in Traumama House, it was like
true,
that.
Yeah, but that's wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What about you though as a child?
I feel like I come from a very like privileged childhood with my parents, where like my dad would like shovel the snow for like my mom, and like would take the snow off her car and warm her car before she goes to work. And I'm like, that's love. It's very different from yours, where you're like, dad cheated on mom. That's not love. But then I think in a sense that like there's a lot of security in my home. I knew that was love, and that my parents offered what they could. And I think I also saw that as love. I never really had to question like my parents as to like why they would make me feel unsafe, because there was never an instance like that. So I think as a child, I was like very sheltered, knowing that like there was a lot of love in the house. And you guys know this, and I repeat this all the time, but like my dad is like the epitome of someone who loved his wife. And so when I see love, I compare that to what I saw with my parents. So I think for me, growing up as a child, it was very safe, and it was a very normal thing. And
so you didn't get beat up as a kid?
No.
Your question.
Not that I know of. Like I like obviously there's a lot of things like emotional, like I'm the last of 8, so like a lot of emotional stuff. Like I lacked a lot of care when it comes to my mom, of like her, because they're always like, don't cry, or like don't do this, so there's a lot of lack of that. But then when it came to knowing or feeling loved, I don't think as a child I lacked any of that. I think it was more so my parents didn't allow me to understand my emotions more outside of like what love is. Okay. Like anger and all those other emotions were not emotions that I felt very often.
I'm glad to hear that.
I know, it's kind of weird.
Why is it weird?
I don't know. It's just like, I think if my dad was still alive, maybe I would think differently. But I think because he has been gone, you kind of, when you lose something, you realize that you lose a lot of things, that comes with loss, or grieving. And so I think when my family, we lost our dad, we realized that there was a huge hole that we really like actually lost. And we always called my dad like the umbrella of the family. And so when we lost him, we lost the umbrella, and we no longer felt what that love was from him. So I think it might be different if like he was still alive.
I understand, actually.
Like that sounds so weird, but like,
yeah.
I don't think it's weird, because I feel like when you're, because we're still children of our parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we will always somehow look up to our parents. So it's like you look up to your parents for specific things. Like you look up to for examples of parenthood, or like examples of love. And I think considering the relationship, it's going to always be ever changing. So then like you're going to see that progression of the relationship, and that's just how you will probably think love is.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a weird thing.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know.
And I really get the part where you're talking about, like, if your dad was here, would you view things differently? As daughters who have no father, I understand that.
Dang, that's all of us,
that's
by
all
the way.
of us. Yeah, we're fatherless women.
Yeah.
Which also has its impacts on us in many ways.
Dad club is what I call it.
But you have a good dad. You're the only member of that club. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. That's true. You had an example of a loving father.
Yeah, that's true.
I rejoice with you that you had that.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't say that everyone felt that way. Our other friend Connie was like, it's so, I would never understand what that feels, and that saddens me, But, that doesn't mean that my dad's not perfect, obviously. That's why I'm like, if he was still alive here, would I think differently of what love even would look like?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So I just think we weren't ever really taught love in the household in general, like that it was an emotion or something that we should have felt.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because I think we
It's
can
awkward,
all,
right?
yeah, I think we can all agree that even for our parents, like, I don't think they even truly know what love really is. I mean, my mom got married at like the age of 14. So like, how would you know that when she was 14, if what she felt for my dad was love, or was it just because she was pregnant and like, that's what they had to do?
Mm-hmm. Convenience.
Hey, maybe you didn't talk about like the term love, but you talked about like activities of love, like, I don't know, your parents buying you stuff or like them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, punishing you. Like, I'm sure you thought about love in other ways.
I feel like a lot of my love language is reflected in my childhood because of like how do we show that we loved each other, right? "Quote unquote," love each other or cared about each other was we did things for each other. Because to me, it's always you can physically see that someone's like shows you how they care about you or how they love you. That's how I see it now as an adult. But even back then, I didn't think of it or how like, oh, my mom loves me because she provided for me or she did this for me. I just didn't think of it.
Yeah, I don't think I started thinking about love until I attended church. Until people were like, you know, love is kind, you know, the First Corinthians, like all of that and I think that was when I started thinking about like, oh man, like, because, you know, you go to church and they're like, God is love. And what does that mean? So I think that was when I was first introduced to what love really was or should be. And then you bring that back home and it's like, is it really all of these things?
You guys had a lot of family members in one household. I forget where I was going with this.
We did have a lot of family members in our household. That's accurate.
So did you question if like your sibling loved you or if you're like,
No.
because you know you said that your mom and them were like, oh, like, you have to listen to me to like compliance was love, right? But then
Right.
for your siblings, how was that?
No, I never questioned it. I never thought of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you think of it? So?
I didn't think of it. It was like a given.
Yeah.
Just because of like, for me, I feel like I think, and even now as an adult, since I was a child, I felt like love was like, okay, how do they make me feel? Do I feel safe around them?
Mm-hmm.
Do I want them to like, do I want to take away their pain for them? Like, do I wish they were in pain? I think a lot of the times, like, I knew I loved them and I knew they loved me when we would just, I don't know, just each other's presence. And I think we kind of saw each other's like pain, even though we didn't discuss it. Like, I always had so much love, especially for like my older siblings, because I could tell they were treated differently.
Mm-hmm.
And like when they were treated unfairly or they were being whooped or whatever, I knew that I loved them and they loved me too, because whenever they were in pain, I didn't want them to hurt. But it's more complicated than that. Yeah, I guess, but I say that because that's the way I want to be loved. For me, it's like you don't want them to be in pain.
Like that was you as a kid, right? Has it evolved as an adult?
I think so. I think there's like more to it, for sure. I think love is liberating.
It's kind of crazy that you as a child felt that way. Because like you knew that you saw pain in your older siblings. Like that is hard to witness that at a young age.
Yeah.
And
it
for
was just
you-
our norm though.
Yeah, but
It's like weird. So it's like weird to even hear you out and be like, wow, you had a healthy
like,
I'm so happy to
family?
hear.
Yeah. So like, you
Yeah.
know, I can't even imagine how like you guys in your household are witnessing like this pain and this like and seeing how each other grow, but then knowing that like you love and want them to be in a better place. Because I didn't learn that until after I lost my dad, that I wanted my
Aw.
siblings to be in a better place.
Oh.
But then, you know, like I didn't also grow up telling my siblings I love them.
Yeah, we didn't either.
So like
Yeah.
it's crazy that
Do you do now?
yeah, I tell them
Okay.
I love them. Yeah.
Do they say it back?
I tell them I force them to say it back.
Aw.
Same.
I'm just like you have to say it back.
Mm.
You know, and they
Mhm.
will say it back, but like I used to have to fight.
Yeah, you'll never know when it's your last time seeing one another.
Yeah. Well, I keep telling them my years are
Limited.
limited. 35, y'all. 35.
What? Like 15 years.
But yeah, no, I think it's so painful to hear that like that's just what your childhood was. To see that you wanted your siblings to be in a better place and that you wanted like obviously you between your two age gap, right? There's a lot of things that happen to you both at the same time, but then like when you're older, so like you also felt things very differently too. But
That's
did you
true.
feel the same way as So? Like
Yeah.
seeing your older siblings suffer?
I think we all mutually felt this way, all of us. And
Even the boys.
yes, I think in some sense, we all had this similar understanding of like, I might be pissed at So, but I'm not going to do anything to get her in more trouble so that she gets hit.
Mm-hmm.
Or like if I was blamed for something, knowing damn well that like my older sister did it, I'll just take the beating for it. We never put ourselves in a position to get an upper hand.
Mm-hmm.
We just took it because especially if it came, our older siblings just were not treated as well. So if it came down to me taking the blame of something over one of my older siblings, I'll just take it because I know I'll get punished
That's
less.
so sacrificial.
So we just knew this growing up though.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because we're younger and we just knew. And who teaches a kid this?
Right?
Correct.
Who taught us
Yeah,
this?
that's why I'm just like, wow.
I remember being like 4 and understanding like, oh, this sister ran away. And then, oh, this sister ran away again. Or, oh, now the sister's married. Or, oh, this brother ran away. It's like, but like, even though you miss them, you want them to stay, you set them free because you know that they're safe because they're leaving, even if you're sad because of it.
And it's so sad because talking to our older sisters who have run away, they're like, I wonder if you guys are mad at us. And we're like, no, we knew why you left. We understood and we were like, I get it. So we like mutually understood. So I don't know who taught us how to love this way, you know, but
How are you feeling?
I feel fine. It's
Okay.
sad to think about. I remember, like, because I know you said it's so sad that, like, you felt that as a little kid. Even when I was a kid, I knew, like, I shouldn't feel this way. I remember, like, just being 4 or 5, and I'm just like, it was just something I had to accept. But I just did it because I love them. So, like, that's why I say love. I feel like it's liberating because there's so much that goes into it. It's like, not only do you understand, but you care, and it's intentional, and it's considerate, and it's freeing, and it's safe. And you want that for your siblings because you love them, even
Yeah.
if it hurts because you want them to stay. But it's kind of selfish if you want them to stay because it makes you feel better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, like it just makes me. We're cancers, so we feel very deeply. So even just talking about it, it's like it makes me feel like I'm inside my 4 or 5-year-old body again, just in mind, just feeling it all. And so talking about it, it's like, whoa, it's very real. It's like I still feel those emotions when we talk about it. When even though now I'm like not 4 anymore, but like I just remember because the feelings were so real.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you were 4 and you felt those emotions. But I think that's what I find. I don't want to say baffling, but we're talking about what is love. Coming from a place where no one taught you love, and this is what you felt at like when you were 4, 5, 6, or 7, like that is insane, right? Because what you saw from your parents is kind of innately what you kind of think what love is. But then you both kind of saw that this is not what love is.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite of having your siblings stay, which is letting go, is freeing, and that is love. Like who, like in like that's how much trauma does someone have to be to even get to that place? And like that pains me for the younger versions of you guys. I hope that our viewers that are listening to this like can see that too. Because I think oftentimes people come who from broken houses like have a really hard time with understanding what love is. And
Yeah.
maybe they probably always felt it as a child. And they just don't know how to come to terms to like what love truly is.
All we knew was what love was not. And I would notate that like, okay, well, love isn't beating somebody up. Love isn't angry. Love isn't so, whereas like I love how you grew up with seeing your dad be so good and you're like, oh, love is like this. Love cleans off a car, on a cold, snowy day. Love does this. We didn't have that. All I knew was, oh, love doesn't argue every Saturday and Sunday. I know that. Love doesn't cheat. I know that. So when you're working with scrap, like okay, I guess it's also difficult because then in relationships, I started seeing, well, as long as we're not arguing on Saturday and Sunday, so it fucked up like my view of what love was. Whereas had I had that, right? Okay, love, obviously love isn't just scraping off the cart, but love is doing for someone something that eases their burden. And I wish I was brought up with those types of lessons, but unfortunately we didn't get that. But I mean, to your viewers, I would also say like growing up in a fucked up family isn't the end all be all, because then we start off with this really low point, which I view as like a rubber band. Like the further you extend it, the further it goes as well. So like we also have a lot of wisdom to base the rest of our life off of. That's how I view it. So love is also, I was going to say love is also understanding, but I said that 2 years ago, and I still stick with that because I do believe love is understanding that, all right, this was fucked up, but I also understand I want it to be different.
And if I'm being honest also, I feel like sometimes I still don't know exactly what love is, except from what I've experienced myself, from like God specifically and the people he's placed in my life. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it's so big that we can't even fully comprehend it, even if we had the capacity to. It's just so much. It's just so big.
For me, I do agree with you when you say you don't know how to explain it, because I still don't know how to explain it, but I can say that this is not what I want. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what love is, but I can like say like, that's not the kind of love I want. That's the kind of love I do want, you know? So I can't explain it, but I can feel what I do and do not want from it.
Okay. I'm so proud of you that you can feel those things now.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I feel like a few years ago, like you wouldn't be able to say that.
Yeah.
Because I think there was a huge detachment of like love in general, because it's so broad that it was hard to even bring it into emotions for you. Because I said that love is toxic 2 years ago, in a sense that it kind of still is. And I think when I said that 2 years ago, I was in a really bad place with my mother's love, because it was manipulative, it was, you know, like emotional, it was hard, and like the way that she was loving me was very toxic because it was for her gain. And so like when we say like now as an adult for love, like what does that look like for you now? What does love mean for you in this time and space here?
For me, I kind of came to the realization literally yesterday.
That's
no,
okay.
I love that. I relate with you.
Because I had realized that yesterday. I think Mr. Friend and I were, I forget what we were talking about, but then I think I was kind of fishing for like an answer from him. Okay, so for example, right, just hypothetical, I had asked him, hey, like, do you think I should do this? And I think what I was fishing for was like, you do what you want. But then he had said like, oh, I think you should do this. I'm like, bitch, that's not what I want. I want you to give me the freedom and the option to do what I want. And I think when I came to the realization, it was like, I realized that my mom she does not give me the options to do what I want to do. I don't want to have kids at the moment. I don't want to like care to get married or not. She's pushing on these like, I want you to get married. I want you to have kids. It's like, you don't give me an option of what I want in my life. And for me, I want my love to be free.
I agree.
Like, I want to do what I want to do.
Yes.
I want to have the option of whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And if you restrict me in any way, I am not going to feel joy or love or peace.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. I think that was very well said.
Yeah.
I think that resonates. I think that's what everyone in this world wants.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really love someone if you want to control them and want them to change in the way you want them to be? Yeah, I love that. I agree.
Free will. I do believe that is where love is. Because if you love someone, you want them to do what they want to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want anything else?
Yeah. Thank you for understanding. I don't know if I
No,
don't know if I explained it very well.
No, that was excellent.
That so well. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was right on point.
Okay, now I have a question though. If that's what you wanted him to say, why did you need him to say that?
What do you mean?
I want you to do, you asked Mr. Friend a question. Why did you need him to tell you that? If you already knew what you wanted to do, which was whatever you wanted.
I think it was because I wanted him to say it.
You want him to believe that you could, you want him to say that you could do whatever you want.
Yeah. Like I want affirmation that you were giving me the options to do what I want.
But you didn't need his permission. You just wanted him to believe that.
It. Yeah.
So because he didn't, how did that make you feel?
I think I was upset for sure. I didn't tell him when it had happened, but I was kind of like, why the fuck am I so mad? Like, why am I so mad about it?
Okay.
And I realized, like,
Oh, yeah, this is good. I like this.
Oh,
But then, yeah, that's when I realized, okay, like, it kind of relates back to my mom. Like, she didn't give me the options what I've wanted.
Ooh, it triggered you
It did,
into
yeah.
healing. That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, triggers
Yeah.
are a reason why you should dive deeper. And you did.
Yes,
Yeah.
good.
Wow.
And it very great result. Like,
Mhm.
I think you explained it very
So
well.
did you tell him that that's what you wanted?
No, we never got back to it.
Oh, okay.
Aw.
That was good though.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
proud of
you.
So is that what, in entirety of like today, is that what love is for you? Free will?
Today, because I'm pretty sure it will change like it changed like within
Time.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with you. I think love is free will.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to add to that, I also think love is acceptance. Like, if I love someone and to them their free will is I give all my partners free will. With your free will, you want to go cheat, that is on you. That is your free will. And my love to myself is to accept that's what you're going to do with your free will.
Mm-hmm.
So love isn't just in one direction. I believe it bounces around. So I give you free will to do this, and it is up to me to accept if I want that or not.
Right.
What about you? So what is love for you now?
I would agree with the both of you. I think for me personally, there's so much to it. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I do think love is liberating. And one big thing for me is that love is safe, like where you can completely be your whole self safely. But one word, I was also thinking about it so deeply yesterday. And one word that was given to me that was just put on my heart after thinking about love was the word delight. Like when you love someone or something, you delight in it. And I know that like with circumstances that can change, right? Because sometimes in unhealthy relationships or a relationship where you need to set a boundary, you can't delight in it the same way that you used to or would have wanted to, because now you have to set a boundary because they did something to hurt you. But when I mean like love, I mean like delight. So like I love my nieces and nephews, right? For example, even if I'm just in their presence, even just to stare at them, like that's me delighting in them. And delight can look like different things, like even just being there or however that looks like listening to someone and just being happy that you can hear them, or knowing that they're there with you and just loving every little thing about them. Even if you're not technically interested in everything that they love, you love that they are who they are because of that, you know? So like my nephew, he used to, now he loves trains, but he used to love butterflies and he delighted in that. And then like, you know, I just feel like delight is just such a beautiful word. And I'm like, that makes sense about love. And like, when I think of my personal relationship with God, I'm reminded that like he delights in me so much. He knows the number of hairs that are on my head. Like that's like, you pay attention to the little things. And I feel like that it's the little things, like for me. And so I feel like, you know, someone loves you when it's like such little things, you know, like even yesterday, my brother made me breakfast and I'm like, oh, and like, he moved my car so that I wouldn't have to walk so far. Like that's sweet. And like love is cleaning off, you know, the car for someone. And I'm like, I show my love to Wen yesterday by doing that. It's like, no, you get in the car, I'll clean it for you, or I'll heat up the car for you. It's like the little things. It doesn't have to be like very extreme things, like buying someone a ton of flowers or throwing them a surprise party. It could be,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like not just like gifts or things like that, but it's like it's acts of service, it's time, it's words, it's a lot. So that's what love is to me.
I feel like the word delight is such like a good word, but also at the same time I feel like if I'm talking in a romantic sense, I've never felt that.
Oh,
If I'm talking about in a sense of love right now, I can also agree in the same way that you guys say that it's freeing, right? Because last year, I always choose a word for the year. Last year's word was free. And that's what I want it to be. For me to self-love myself, I needed to be free. I needed to be authentically myself, be able to do the things that I want to do, to surrender to all these things to myself even, in order to really love who I am. All scars and everything in between. So in order to love, I feel like it has to be freeing. I need to be able to have space for myself to be able to grow and turn and change and be able to do those things and have people accept me for those things. And if we say that as love, like this is what love is in this room right now, because we've known each other for like 10 years. And like we've all given each other space to change and grow and still have place for love. And that's so freeing.
Yes.
You know, because there's nothing more sad for us to constrict us. Like, can you imagine if we were still the way that we were like 7 years ago?
No.
And not
thank the
grow
Lord
and
we
not
are not.
change. You know,
Exactly.
like, is that love if we didn't allow each other to change
Oh, wow.
and
Yeah.
accept people for who they are as they continue to grow, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for this
Period.
love and this friendship that we have, because it's like the most amazing thing that can has happened to me, because like there's no other way that I would have learned what love truly is without like this friendship. So if I were to say love, I would say is this friendship, because you guys have allowed me to have space to be free and to really try to understand myself, even if I wasn't like the best person, you know. So thank you. Anyway, sorry, that was just very like
Sweet. And you make it easy, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I was just gonna ask that. I was like, is love easy? Should it be easy?
It should be easy, but it's not always.
Can you elaborate?
I feel like at some points, and I'm speaking of romantic love, by the way. I feel like if a partner's situations change, you know, their mental health in a situation that's changed, it can affect the way that your relationship changes. And you still choose to love someone through that. But I'm not saying that like that can be easy, because you are choosing to do so, even though like it is not like delightful at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. I see that.
So it should be easy, but it's not. In practicality, is not. I see Miss Wen. I don't think she does agree.
I don't know how I feel about that question, to be honest, because easy is subjective. I feel like sometimes I find myself interchangeably using the terms easy and simple, and I don't think love is easy, but I think it should be simpler. Like as someone who like studied the way of human interaction, a lot of our conversations get misconstrued because people just utilize different terms or they're talking about different things. That's what complicates conversations. So that's what makes love difficult. People can't vocalize how they feel. So I feel like love should be simple if people simply say exactly as they feel. But a lot of people do not feel like they can be accepted as they are. They don't have that free will to be themselves. So they end up saying something that is not quite true of what they feel. And so anyway, long answer for a short question is, should it be easy? Maybe not. Should it be simple? Yes. If we say exactly as we feel, we will never be in misalignment.
I have an opinion.
Mhm.
I feel like it's not easy to love, and it could be, and it should be. But because we as human beings, we are imperfect, we make mistakes, we have different energies, we have different, like we're in different seasons of life, and we have like, you know, our mental health impacts us differently each day. And so because of that, I feel like there are going to be hardships, and love isn't going to be easy all the time. I think it's like how you endure through the hardships, you know, like even our relationships with one another, it hasn't always been easy, but it's how you go about working through the times where we have unintentionally hurt one another or said something to hurt one another, you know, because we have. And I think the beautiful thing about that is even through those hardships, and yes, the easy times too, it's like we still are here for one another, we love one another, and we still delight in one another and want to be in each other's presence and growing with each other. So I don't think it's always easy. I feel like if it was easy, we'd all be doing it, and there would be no fallouts in friendships or relationships. But it's actually hard, I feel, but we endure, and that's like a big piece.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I'm only asking because I did see on a reel that someone was like, "Love is hard. Love should not be easy, because love, it should be hard because you're trying to hold on to these connections with other people. It is hard because you need to create, you know, more time with other people to spend with them." Because her explanation was that like when it's easy, it just means that you kind of just pass on by, that like you just allow time to just go, and then, you know, you're not really working on each other. So to her, she's like, love is hard is because like you have to work together in order for growth to happen between whether it's friendship, or family or in relationships. So I get that part too. It's because like working together is hard. It's a lot of work, but it can be easy.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know if love should be easy or not.
I feel like it should come easy though. Like, I feel like when you love someone, like you desire to do that, right? Like, I'm sure we keep talking about your dad, but the scraping off the snow off the car, like, I'm sure he was cold. I'm sure he didn't want to get up early and do it. But I think because when you feel you love someone, you feel compelled to do things and you're not fighting that feeling. Like, it comes naturally. So I think there are easy parts and obviously hard parts. What goes up must come down. So there are two polarities, but.
Can I have my little 2 cents?
Yeah.
Like for me, when I show that I care about Mr. Friend, it's very easy for me to like, I'll cook for you, I'll clean, don't worry about it. But I just found out not too long ago, his love language is words of affirmation. That is very, very hard for me. It is so hard for me. It's like my bottom one, and it is so hard for me. So then like when we get into arguments, he just needs a little affirmation of some words. And I'm just like, I don't know what you want me to say.
You're doing
I don't know what you want me to say. I don't. So then, like, if that for me, that's hard. But if you need me to show you in the ways that like it's easy for me, absolutely. You know what I mean? So in that situation, it's hard for me to do that for you.
So if it's easy for you to do it, then it's easy. But if it's something hard for you, then you have a hard time doing it.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're projecting, and
Right.
that's all we do, really.
Yeah. I mean, what comes up must come down, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess we really can't pinpoint whether love should be easy or not.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
believe it.
one thing that is only one thing.
Yeah. I think the whole idea of love is easy. I think of like the church, right? When they say that love should be easy, love, God is love, But then when it came to us as daughters, as women, as girls, they say that it should be easy because we should be self-sacrificial. We shouldn't argue. We should just be submissive. And so when I think of that as easy, like that's not easy. When we were church girls, like we needed to be a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because
There was no free will.
right, there was no free will.
So that's
Yeah.
not love.
Yeah,
We just had to be submissive to every single thing, not challenge
Even
anything.
correct.
Even if it was bad.
So I think when they say love is easy, it's more like love is controlling, that you should be a specific way. I think that's where love is easy came from. But, the more that I think about it, I was just like, love is easy when you do it. But then when it's something that your partner really wants, love is hard
Mm-hmm.
because you have to relinquish control. So, yeah, kind of crazy just how far.
That's crazy.
But yeah. So love for me, I don't know. But they say I am. So
You literally cannot say you don't know because at the beginning of this podcast, you literally
Okay.
just described what
but
love
at the end of
means.
the day, I don't know though. Okay, you guys.
Always ended with I don't know though.
I don't know though, okay, just in case. Just in case.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that is my consensus. Thank you guys for joining us on this What is Love podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Congratulations on 4 years.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Oh
my
4
gosh.
years.
4 years. 4
Not
years.
5,
I believe that.
not 6, 4. Thank
But
you, Traumama House, for being here.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Spending
We
time
This was
with
fun.
enjoy
us.
this conversation.
Yeah. Until next time, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll have you guys come on more often if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, seriously, it's
It's
fun.
fun.
This is fun.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everyone. Have a safe Valentine's Day. We hope to hear from you guys. Let us know what love means to you since the last time we talked.
Yeah.
But yeah. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.